shaved recently. I haven't shaved in over 2 weeks.
What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses?
You hate spiders.
That's definitely one of my weaknesses is spiders. And cupcakes. And porn. Not all at the same time, though, because you need a free hand.
Return of the Disc presents Night of the Living Disc. This is episode 4.
I keep building on that. You notice that?
I love it.
I started at a little chuckle, and now I'm full on.
We didn't have one episode 1. Now we have a full-on chuckle.
Oh yeah,
it's great. Joining me again, as always, is the horror aficionado himself, Robert.
Aficionado. I like that title. God.
I would say you definitely are more of a horror aficionado than me.
I definitely do love the genre, and I definitely have seen some deep cuts on it. This being one of them.
Speaking of Mindhunters, this week's movie is a deep cut.
I found out about it going to Family Video in Emporia, Kansas, and finding it.
Amazing.
Because I saw LL Cool J on the...
That's what drew you to it?
Yeah, I saw LL Cool J.
Cool J? Okay.
I didn't really know that much about Christian Slater either. Big spoilers. There's
Slater. Yeah, we'll get into the casting and all that.
In that wonderful segment, Movie Tree, that we do.
Exactly. We have our 5 categories today, and let's get started. A little plot synopsis.
Plop synopsis.
Little plot synopsis.
Shouldn't drink that Coke with your Pop Rocks.
I'm half dead.
It starts as FBI profilers doing a final training before a squad is basically formed. Under Val Kilmer, who's he's in
charge.
He's out there as far as being a trainer.
His methods are questionable.
Honestly, I think when Criminal Minds started really ramping up some of the stuff, they kind of took a little bit. I wonder if somebody saw this movie, honestly. So then again, Criminal Minds man came first.
It might have. I think it probably.
God, I have to double check that. Or somebody in the comments can. So the final training mission is to go out to this island. They have to track down a serial killer that's been set up by Val Kilmer, and things go awry pretty quickly when it turns out that the serial killer is actually there, and he starts picking off the profilers.
For me, it turned into some sort of escape room at that point.
Yeah,
where these people had to get out of or figure
survive,
out who's behind it, survive, all the above. A little bit like Saw almost.
Oh yeah, very
play
solid.
in a game.
Mm-hmm. Especially towards the end when it gets super, when all the action scenes, you have trouble with them because it gets super dark and, yeah.
What's the genre of this? I mean, there's a little bit of slasher. There's a little bit of whodunit.
I'd call this, thriller, murder mystery type thing.
Kind of multi-genre.
Yeah.
Inside of horror.
Psychological.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, too.
Yeah, very much whodunit type thing. So I think it's a great one to cover. Because it's important for this genre.
All right, let's get into our categories then.
Well, we'll start off with our favorite one. How'd they do that, Dan?
I'm a filmmaker, and I know a little bit behind the scenes, know how the sauce is made, sort of, but I was not on the set of Mindhunters. So I will do my best to answer Robert's question on how it's made, or how they did that, or whatever he's got for me. I have no idea what he's got for me, so lay it on me, and I'll give my best shot at answering, or I'll just bullshit you.
I'll believe it either way, I promise.
Perfect.
I'm going to go with the drone-like sweeping shots that are done towards, the beginning of the movie that's kind of establishing the island and, going through the town inside the island and stuff. It looks like you'd use a drone for that type of thing, but since they didn't really become popular till about 10 years later, I was wondering how they did that beforehand.
Now, was it going through cities?
Yeah,
or was
it was going it had a profile it would be about roof level, and it was going going through the streets and just really establishing the town itself. And then there's a big wide one where it went over the entire island, where they were staying in.
Gotcha.
You remember? Okay.
Typically, the establishing shots like that are up from high above or anything like that. Cityscapes or any sort of thing like that were used by helicopter. Usually do call it pickup shots, or you have your B team on the crew or B camera. They would go out and get these establishing shots that were for inserts later into the film.
If you're using a helicopter, how do you keep the camera from moving? How do you get a steady shot from a helicopter?
I would imagine there's a steady tripod. Now, the weaving in and out, the closer ones, the alley or whatever, that could be on a car, or they could be going really slow. and then they speed it up in post.
Okay.
Could be CGI.
Nowadays, it looks like you could do that with a drone.
Movie tree. This is where we break down like the cast and crew, where they went on after this or before this.
And it's just to give you suggestions about things you can go watch if you like a particular actor. If you go watch this movie, Mindhunters, and you're like, oh wow, that's a really cool actor. I wonder what else he did.
That's right.
You can go and we'll give you plenty of suggestions off this one because this thing was freaking to the gills with
This
cast.
one needs to be trimmed. It's a big tree.
Yeah. You want to start?
Yeah, I will start with Christian Slater. I don't think he really hit the height
That he could have.
of pop. Yeah, like he's in Heathers. He's pop in the 80s and early 90s. True Romance is one of my favorite movies he's in.
Robin Hood, the Kevin Costner version.
Yeah, but he never quite got the hits to become the star that I think that the public wanted him to be in the 80s. You know, the heartthrob.
Next up is Val Kilmer. You mentioned Batman himself. Also of Top Gun, Tombstone. One of my personal favorite movies, The Prince of Egypt.
Gosh, okay, yeah.
Like the voice of God and the voice of Moses. Like, I would say he's the top part of this cast, though he isn't hugely featured. I will say
5 minutes of screen time. I mean, not much.
maybe 10. Yeah, like the beginning part towards the end of it. Like,
Yeah,
but he does disappear for
it does make an impact.
Yeah, does disappear for a big chunk of the movie. What you got?
LL Cool J,
Oh yeah.
and he's gone on to have a great career in television with Chris O'Donnell, whatever show that is on CBS.
NCIS
LA. But yeah, he came from music, and he done, like you said, he's like he was in SWAT before Mindhunters, so he's in this great shape.
This is actually a big arc
is a
for him because this
big
is like
arc.
this is Deep Blue Sea, this is Rollerball, this is SWAT, like you said, and then Mindhunters hits, and then about 5 years later he picks up NCIS LA.
Yeah, but here I thought he was really good.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Range as an actor, I didn't really have that.
He makes an excellent police officer, no matter what he does it in. Like we mentioned, SWAT and NCIS. Like he just makes a very good police officer.
Right. He's got the Vin Diesel tank top on.
Yeah, for that fight, that was pretty good. I'm gonna go with Eon Bailey. Actually, next, he had some roles in like ER. He's kind of a minor character in Fight Club and Almost Famous. But
Right around that same area, you said Band of Brothers I think, as well.
Band of Brothers, thank you very much.
Keep going. That's all I've got.
Okay, I got pretty much the rest of the
I know
cast,
you
to be
do.
honest. So Catherine Morris, excuse me, went on to do Minority Report and was the main star of Cold Case, where she actually had a reunion with Bailey at one point.
Wow.
Because he did a shot of that a couple of years later. Johnny Lee Miller, Sherlock Holmes, Elementary fame. Patricia Vasquez, I hope I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I don't.
I think you did.
She is Anoxina Moon from The Mummy and The Mummy Returns.
I haven't seen those.
You've never seen the
I know. Yeah,
oh man, the Brendan Fraser Mummy
Never seen them.
season 2. Goddamn, here we go. No, this thing was packed to the gills with like people who went on.
Turn my nerd card in. All right.
But this is a horror movie, and even though we had a star-studded cast, we had a lot of really interesting, well-done kills, and that brings us to our next category.
Dead, John.
He's dead, Jim.
He's dead, Jim. I've got 2 written down
I have 3, so I feel
that
like
I really enjoyed. I think I literally said "wow" out loud, like
it wouldn't happen.
Christian Slater, frozen to death.
Liquid nitrogen.
I think he made the fatal mistake though, because there's a scene prior, hot and steamy in the shower.
Oh yeah,
has sex. If you have sex in a horror film,
You're done.
You're gonna die.
100%. And I got to tell you, and both characters die, by the way. So you're totally right. And I only have two problems. Okay. Number one, the steamy shower sex scene. The only thing we saw was Christian Slater's ass. And I got to tell you, for a movie like this was probably a quarter of their budget to get Christian Slater to show his ass on camera. And number two, that's not how liquid nitrogen works at all. There is no way in God's green earth it would have froze him that fast. I'm sorry. Like, if he had been completely submerged in it, like we saw in Jason X later on, like, okay, I can deal with that. But this dude literally stood there and let it spray him for like 3 full fucking minutes. Sorry. It shouldn't have done that. But I understand why, because it's a really crazy visual, and the fact that Christian Slater's like the biggest build person of this movie, because everybody else was pretty later on getting their heydays. Like LL Cool J, like it was kind of working out that way, but
it just sucks because I really enjoyed his character to that point, because he even bobbing his head to those those head bobbers in the car, and he's having a good time, I'll wake you up, in the beginning, and then to have him like go away, just
be
like
the first one
Game
out,
of Thrones type shit here.
Yeah, Sean Bean level.
Yeah.
You're right. Like the first one out. Like I feel that
I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, no. Like the first time I saw it, I didn't. But like that's why I was kind of smiling when you were like, "Wow, I can't believe they took out Christian Slater first."
I was like, it's got to be a drone or something, or it's a
body. He's gonna come back as the killer type thing. Yeah, you were ready for that.
Prop or something.
Yeah.
The other one I have is related to that. It's Nicole.
The caustic cigarette.
Yeah, the acid cigarette laced with acid. I mean, it's a no smoking ad for sure. Like it's right around that time.
Oh yeah, the truth advertising
where people are, the bars are not having smoke in as much, and restaurants are getting rid of it this time in America. And man, it's just that
anti-smoking PSA.
That's an anti-smoking scene for sure.
And the one that I have down is what I call the bloodless decapitation. The decapitation is a mainstay in horror movies. Like, we've seen it time and time again. And what do you have every time that happens? Allowing for that type of thing, obviously, if it's not a PG-13 or whatever. You get blood spatter, you get da-da-da-da, you get, just screams and da-da-da-da. And here we have just this character, Rafe. I have his name down here. Oh, yeah, Will Kemp. Didn't go on to do much here in America, but he's a big British guy, so... didn't find a whole lot that I knew. But like he just gets like his head is clean cut, done, but his blood is all drained and used for a message later on. It's just a really cool concept. Like I said, horror movies have this trope where you see the same thing over and over again. Michael Myers, he stabs a person, he breaks somebody's neck, he stabs a person, right? But like the great ones, like the Freddys, the Jasons, and they give you variety. They mix things up. And so this is what I love about this kill, is the fact that it's been done so many times in horror movies, and this is just a fresh take on it that I really appreciate.
Yeah, that was also another shocking one too.
He was a really fun little character.
And pretty quick. But yeah, you have any others?
No, you took the other two I had down. So.
Nice. All right, we'll move on to our most memorable movie moment.
Moment of the movie, one of the two. We'll figure it out eventually. Maybe by season 2.
I'll let you go first this time.
I only have 2, and we just alluded to it actually, but it's just the fact that Christian Slater goes first.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that's the big like, oh my god, I can't believe that really happened. Moment. The other one I have down is the puppet playtime with Val Kilmer.
That's the one I have.
Yep.
And to that point, I'm like, is it really going to be that simple where Val Kilmer is the killer? And then they do a nice twist where it's actually him being tortured and audio of him being tortured and played over the top, and then the crew discovers on a monitor that he's being, tortured and captive, and his face is being torn up, and and then things get even weirder when the puppet is activated.
Because
on time,
when they discover Val Kilmer, he's secretly been watching this whole thing go down, but he's also probably one of the first victims of the actual serial killer, because like he's been up there for a while, you can tell. He's strung up on this like thing. It's another Saw thing. Like we just saw this with like the Chris Rock Saw movie with Samuel Jackson, all like strung up and stuff, and like manipulated by gears and pulleys and stuff. This is a very early version of that.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, a Criminal Minds reference, if you want to go with that. There's an episode Brad Dourif plays a puppeteer, and he does something very similar to this too. He strings people up and uses them as marionettes.
Man, yeah, that was, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
I thought they'd probably do a twist on it, but I didn't think that this would be the twist. So it was a nice surprise.
Solid.
And that's definitely horrific.
Not the way to go. It looks like he got his throat cut at the end of the torture, and then he's displayed. So,
Right. Yeah.
solid.
Man.
Not as solid as Christian Slater, but you know.
No. Well, I guess that only leaves our ranking.
Yeah.
Our final ranking, as our match card ranking here, as you see on the screen. Where are you going to go with this one?
I'm going to call it an opener. Now,
Okay.
I admit it. There is some bias here. I know this is like basically my deep cut that not a lot of people have seen because I show it to a lot of people, and I'm like, oh, this is such a good movie, you should watch it. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to do the shows so people could kind of catch a glimpse of this one. We even beat Dead Meat to this one. You got Wishmaster, but you will not get Mindhunters from me, James. Damn it. Anyway, I love you, Mr. Janice. I call this an opener. It's not a main event. It's not like one of the greatest groundbreaking horror movies ever made or anything like that. But it's such a good movie. It's so star-studded, and it's well written, and it's a great concept. Profiling of the profilers, and just unique kills, and pretty well acted all throughout, honestly. Like, they're all believable characters. Like, and that's part of the profiling thing, too, right? Nicole Patricia Vasquez is like through the entire movies, like she's a recovering smoker, and like almost every she's in it, she's like, God, I want a cigarette.
Oh yeah, there's that bar
Like-
scene early too where they profile her at the bar, even like she's starting at the smoker. So
And that's what I'm saying. It's like they're all believable characters. They're all pretty
they all
well
have their
acted.
things, they have their weaknesses.
And that I put this as a solid opener. Like if you're doing a movie marathon, put this one in front, and you won't be disappointed.
Like this started out like a training exercise, really, because I thought this mass killer was going to be the killer, or a slasher film or something, and then
It subverted your
it
expectations.
subverted expectations multiple times, probably 3 or 4 times, to be honest with you.
It's a good thriller.
And that's a good thing. However, I did feel like it's sort of like a TV show at times.
Oh yeah, I feel that. Of course, a lot of them go on.
And I don't know if that's
TV stars,
because
so.
I don't know if that's because I've seen some of those criminal shows now. I brought that into it maybe, or I'm not quite sure. But for me, I got to give it a mid card.
That's fair. Like I said, this is a B movie, 100%.
The other negative was Kilmer and Slater aren't in it enough. That could just be my own problem.
No, I mean, that's fair. I mean, you have to think this didn't have the greatest budget in the world and probably couldn't afford to have them for that long. You tell me it got a theater release. I don't ever remember it happening, so they're not obviously going to recoup millions if I don't
Right.
ever remember it happening. So, I'm willing to bet this didn't have a great, huge budget.
It flopped.
And so, it just being a cult classic B movie like I like, I can totally get it.
Yeah, it's fair. Sorry to disappoint you.
It's okay.
But
It's okay. I will say, like I said, a lot of these dudes go on to be TV stars.
They do.
So, like, I can kind of get that vibe they give off. The major film actors are not in the film very much, and the major TV actors are in it for a great deal of time. So,
Right.
I know that's 2 way different levels of doing things. So I'm sure that the TV actors that had to hold the majority of the movie, just that's what they're going to bring is that.
But Cool J's
there's-
performance is great.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed him. You definitely see it if you guys haven't seen it before. Or check
If you can find it, yeah. Like I said, this was a family video, which was a very small chain, and it's even smaller than it used to be.
It's extinct now.
It's completely extinct?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought there was like one left, like Blockbuster.
No.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I bought this thing for like $4 and one of them was closing, so
It was
100%.
Let us know in the comments your thought on Mindhunters from 2005.
Give comments,
And,
let us know suggestions, let us know what you think of the movie if you've seen it.
Yeah. I expect this one to be a mixed bag.
Yeah. I'll grant that.
Yeah.
If you get a 4 for me and a 2 from you, I'm
Yeah.
not, won't be too surprised.
But anyways, join us next week for our final episode. Peace.